beaches in Antarctica, and I think it's more for the visual, to get pictures and videos of us speaking on every single continent in the world, because from a speaker's point of view, it's obviously great to be a TEDx speaker, that's like the cream of the crop, but of course being featured on media, and being a speaker in all 7 continents. There are not many people in the history of the world that have done that has done all 7.
No, I love it. That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, Antarctica.
Yeah, why not?
We should get invites too. That's cool.
You are invited, we'll bring the whole crew. One month here, and then there'll be more slow travelers. They'll spend maybe 6 months in a place, then they'll do 6 months in a place, and there's the big digital nomad hotspots in places like Bali, Chiang Mai, Medellin, Colombia. But here in the Philippines, it hasn't really taken off yet. So last year when I came here, I was like, okay, where's the digital nomads? And there are some, in Boracay, in Palawan, here in Manila, but there was no strong tribe, network, or community. So that's what we started doing. We started doing meetups. We started doing workshops, and now we're doing this big summit, which is the first Digital Nomad Summit conference in the history of the Philippines. So this is really planting flag, so to speak, in the Philippines, saying we are now going to create a strong, vibrant digital nomad community. So then people start coming here. They'll be like, oh, Philippines is so beautiful, such friendly people, delicious food, and plus a strong, thriving digital nomad community here as well.
So how did you personally get involved in this lifestyle?
Yeah, so I'm not the typical digital nomad. Most digital nomads you might think are millennials or they're in their 20s or maybe early 30s. I'm actually 42 now, happily married to my wife Anne, she's a Filipina, and we have 3 wonderful kids. I'm from Vancouver, BC, Canada. I met my wife in Canada. We actually left everything behind back in Canada to travel the world on December 6, 2016. So we've been a nomadic family for about 2 years. We traveled as a family to Asia, Africa, South America, Middle East, and around a year ago, my wife's mom got sick, so we actually ended up coming here. Typical Filipino thing, right? To take care of the family when the parents are aging. So we set up base here, actually not here, but in La Union, which is about 6 hours north of here, depending on the traffic, right? So we set up base there, and then, while I was living there, I was like, I need to talk to foreigners and expats and like business people. In La Union, not as many business people, it's more surfers. And there are just nomads in La Union. But here, it's more e-commerce, like it's a commerce hub, right? The economic center of the Philippines. So I started coming here and doing different events, speaking, and just basically connecting with Filipinos who have this desire to travel, like you talked to Boost earlier and Celia earlier, and a whole bunch of other Filipinos that are moving from corporate world to freelance world, to entrepreneur world, to business ownership world, to actually the digital nomad lifestyle. And it's really a transition in that step-by-step sequence. You'll see it. Corporate workers, they'll get frustrated. Oh, I need some freedom. Well, freedom, freelancers. And then they'll become freelancers like, well, now I need to go to the stage for entrepreneurship. Then entrepreneurship will be self-employed, but they'll not need to start building up their employees, business owners. And then from business owners, they're like, well, there's a whole world out there, and I'm not exploring it. So then they'll start exploring it and maybe doing smaller trips, and then they're like, actually, I can work anywhere if they have a internet business, right? And that's the true freedom of an internet business, that you can work anywhere as long as there's strong Wi-Fi.
I mean, just a bit of a digression there. I'm just curious, is that actually an obstacle for Filipino digital nomads, the lack of infrastructure?
Tell me about it. For digital nomads, Wi-Fi is more important than oxygen. If you know that Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you have your physical needs, you have your safety, security, then you have your emotional needs, and then you have the self-actualization. But the foundation is Wi-Fi. We start stressing out, we're like, I can't even get on my messenger, I can't even contact people, and then low back, right? Like the low back anxiety, which we all have, right? So without Wi-Fi, we're in trouble as digital nomads, right? So it is actually, honestly, a problem here in the Philippines, especially if you're in a remote province. In Manila, Quezon City, Cebu, the big city hubs, you're going to be fine with the internet. to the most part. And there's always things you can do for backups. So obviously you have Wi-Fi, you got data, you got pocket Wi-Fi, you have internet cafes, and if all that fails, just borrow from a friend, hey, can I use your internet? And this happens all the time. I'm like, okay, Wi-Fi is not working, what should I do? Data's not working, what should I do? Pocket Wi-Fi is not working, what should I do? Then I'll go to internet cafe. The good thing about internet cafes is they usually have plugged-in internet, so you have strong, like stable internet. The bad thing is you got all the teenagers playing video games. So I'm doing like Skype or Zoom business calls, and then all of a sudden someone wins the video game, they start cheering, and then my client is like, "Where are you, Ricky?" I'm like, "Internet cafe." And it's just a fun joke because people kind of get it. I'm in a third world country with not strong internet infrastructure, so they're all good about it and they're very understanding. But it's been tough. The internet issue has been definitely very tough here.
And I'm sure it's very charming. That joke is very charming to your partners. And it's funny that you bring up the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The visual is funny to me because if you get the pyramid and you flip it, it's a Wi-Fi sign. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's a Wi-Fi sign with the bars.
So the Wi-Fi is you need a base. Isn't that funny?
Okay. I'm going to use that. I never thought of it that way, that Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
You use that in your presentation.
He was like almost like a forecaster of Wi-Fi because that hierarchy was invented way before the internet. So good job, shout out to Maslow for that.
Okay, so let's transition to the summit.
Sure.
What gave you the idea for the summit, and why kick it off in Asia and here in the Philippines?
Well, because I am here, so it makes sense for me to start it where I am, right? And I also saw the Asian economy is thriving and booming on a global scale, right? I mean, we know the strongest economy in the world is, North America, Canada, US, then you have the European economies like United Kingdom, Germany, France, then you have the Asian economies like Singapore, Japan, then you have Australia, right, Oceania. Those are the strongest global economies. Brazil is, up there, and the BRIC, Brazil, Russia, India, China, the BRIC, those are the strongest economies. But when you look at Asia, China obviously a huge country with 2 billion, India 1 billion, and people from North America want to do business here in Asia. So I saw a need and an opportunity and a gap to fill. And that's business at the end of the day. You have to look for the opportunity, you have to look where the need is, and then solve it. And that's exactly what I did, because here in the Philippines, a lot of people want to come here because they've heard about it, beautiful beaches and the tropical paradise romanticized, right? But they had, like my friends back in Canada, they didn't have a reason to come until the summit. So I messaged my friends back in Canada. I'm like, I used to run conferences back in Canada, they've spoken there, so I was like, hey guys, I'm thinking about putting a summit. Would you be interested in actually coming here to speak? And they're like, I was thinking about it, but now that there's a reason, I will come. So all of a sudden I got 5 friends, 10 friends, 15 friends. Now there's about 20 internationals, 10 expats, such as like myself, I'm like an expat / digital nomad. And then there's 20 locals, so all the top internet marketers locally also speaking. So it's really a fusion between the 3 types of people: the internationals who are flying in, the locals who live here, and expats who are internationals who live here. So yeah, those 3 types of people. And why here in the Philippines? Because I do feel it's an undiscovered gem in Asia, because a lot of people know about Bali. A lot of people go to Thailand for the beaches, and for some reason they just skip Philippines. It's not as booming in terms of tourism, even though the tourism department is great, right? It's more fun in the Philippines, etc. But for some reason, people leave it off the tourist radar and map. So I'm just doing my part to help create, improve the economy by bringing in, foreigners and internationals to speak and to promote the programs and all. Also creating tourism here, sightseeing, and we're creating ambassadors for the Philippines, because all these internationals will come here and they'll be blown away. Oh, the Philippines are so kind and generous and hospitable, loving people, the food's delicious, and they're gonna go back and tell all their friends in Canada, US, Europe, and that's gonna create a ripple effect for more people wanting to come here. So all I'm doing is creating a small spark, which hopefully will create a big change.
Fantastic. Okay, so this is the story of the Freedom Summit. What can attendees gain from joining you at the summit?
In one word, freedom. It's something we all pursue, desire, yearn, and long for. It's not really about the money at the end of the day. Some people might think it's about pursuing money or time freedom, location freedom. Those are kind of the buzzwords. But I really feel there's 2 freedoms: the inner freedom, which we all need, the spiritual, the emotional, the mental, and of course there's outer freedoms, which are maybe more tangible. Who doesn't want more financial freedom? I do, right? I know, I'm sure you do. Who doesn't want more time freedom, right? So we can just sleep in if we want, or we can avoid the rush hour traffic, right? And who doesn't want location freedom? That if I want, go hop over to Paris and do my work there. Hop over to Sydney, Australia, do my work there. Hop over to Chicago in the US, do my work there, right? So I feel this is something that we all want, but for some reason we have obstacles. Either it's the money obstacle, it's the family obstacle, it's the health obstacle, it's just the too busy obstacle. But primarily I feel it's the money obstacle, because I've traveled the world now to 81 countries and 6 continents, and almost every person that I talk to and meet, they're like, "Ah, you're so lucky, Ricky. I wish I could do that. Oh, someday, I'll put it on my bucket list." I've heard that so many times. So I was like, let's destroy the excuses, let's figure out a way that you guys can also live this digital nomad life. Because the thing is that we all have in common is Wi-Fi. It does not matter our nationality, ethnicity, our gender, our marital status. It just matters about our ability to pursue our dreams, to make money on the internet. And when we make money on the internet, that's when we can achieve those freedoms, right? Because there's internet everywhere. Even in Antarctica, they do have internet. Might not be very good internet, but they do have it. Here in the Philippines, it might not be very good, but they have it, right? So with internet freedom, we can achieve, I feel, those other freedoms. So it's really, the making money, I guess, is the foundation of what they'll learn. How to set up a business, how to, like, basic mindset first, and then branding second, marketing third, and monetizing fourth. If they really follow that sequential step-by-step order, let's start with the mindset, let's start with the branding, let's go into marketing and promotion, and then let's start finalize with the income and monetization. And then of course we have support. We do like masterminds, we have a Freedom University, we have like Zoom call training. So we don't want to just like empower them during 2 days. They get rah, 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 and then Monday like, oh, back to my crappy job. We want to empower them not just for 2 days, but for the rest of their life. Because the moment we change someone's mind, we change someone's life. Eternally, forever, indefinitely. So that's with the mind.
Fantastic. I could not have asked you to put that better yourself. Like you've clearly given this speech a number of times. Okay, so Ricky, is there anything that we haven't covered that you think our audience is, again, startup founders,
Yes.
Permalancers, so freelancers, and aspiring entrepreneurs? Is there anything that we haven't covered that you think would be really useful to them? Any insights you could share?
Yeah, I want to give you guys hope. Because you might think it's not for you. It's for some people in North America or Europe, like the Westerners. That's the stereotype of the traveler, the backpacker from Europe, right? But I want to give you hope and assurance that you guys can do it as well. Because this, again, it's the same internet. I just want to like qualify that. Because people will like limit themselves by their passport or their economic background or their parents. Oh, my parents weren't rich, I'll never be able to travel, or it's only for the wealthy. These are all like kind of stereotypes, so I want to destroy those one by one and give people hope, assurance, and practical tools and strategies. I mean, if you look at the internet now, go to Google, go to YouTube, go to iTunes, go to Facebook, and you'll find a lot of blogs, a lot of research on how you can make money online. But I think the real issue is the lack of belief in themselves. Because if they wanted to, they would have already done all the research and already figured out a way, and it would be already digital nomads. But there's a lack of belief, and there's a lack of skill set, and a lack of support. So even if you don't come to the summit, it doesn't matter to me. It matters to me whether you believe it for yourself, and you can find everything you need in the World Wide Web, right? But if you feel maybe you want to have practical people who have practically done it, help, support, and give you assurance you can do it too, then come to the summit. But I don't want it to be like a sales pitch. Don't come to the summit and then you'll be financially free and stuff like that. You can achieve it yourself. But if you don't feel you can achieve it yourself, then come to the summit, right? So yeah, I just want to give you guys hope and assurance because there is a great opportunity on the internet for everyone. That's what I really want to, that's my bottom line. Everyone can do it. You who are watching, you're reading, can do this. If I can do it, you can do it. If Boost can do it, you can do it. If Sally can do it, you can do it. We all can achieve total freedom in every single area of our lives.
All right, perfect. Direk?
All right, so let's do the invitation and again introduce.
Yeah, so introduce yourself,
Sure.
your position with the summit,
Sure.
and a little bit of an invite. Come on for the summit.
Yes, absolutely. So I wanted to thank Business World, Spark Up, thank you so much for interviewing me here today. Wanted to invite everyone to come to the Freedom Summit Global in any of the 5 countries, but especially here in the Philippines. It'll be happening over 2 days from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. happening at Ground Up. It's an amazing co-working space in the heart of Paranaque. Wait till you see this space, you're gonna be blown away. We have a whole bunch of different surprises that we don't even better reveal to you here. You gotta be there in person to see the venue. You gotta meet the speakers, grab those selfies with the speakers. You gotta connect with delegates. Over 200 people are gonna be there at the event. Amazing sponsors as well. We're gonna have Business World represented there as well on one of the panels. So make sure you come out and check it out. freedomsummitglobal.com is the website, and if you enter a promo code Business World, we'll give you exclusive special discount for all of your listeners and viewers.
All right, thank you so much. I didn't even know about that promo.
I didn't know either. I just no, I mean when I set it up now. Basically,
Thank you so much.
basically it's normally 5,000 pesos, but because of what you're doing here, we'll offer any of your